Hello everyone, this is Dr. Bhairavi, the Sky Priestess. And as a treat, we're going to do a Hello Neighbor special, which we haven't done in quite a long time. So for those of you who are new to the concept, Hello Neighbor is a series that was inspired by the visionary work of Reverend Fred Rogers. And, he was a person who demonstrated how this consistent embodiments of kindness could go on and inspire people for generations to come, really planting the seeds for compassionate change in the world in millions through basically daytime storytelling and television for kids. Now, whilst I definitely do not consider myself Fred Rogers, what we try to do with the Hello Neighbor special is to create a space or a platform for people to reach out and to share what they want to share. So we can talk about various things. Astrology is one thing, spirituality is one thing, but it's perfectly okay if you also just want to talk about your day or if you want to catch up with the neighborhood, so to speak. How's everyone doing? Where is everyone? How is everyone feeling? And so on and so forth. And sometimes it does take a little time for everyone to turn up because we're all on different time zones. Some of you follow the Hello Neighbors once it's already been uploaded, and it's totally fine. It's just a way to stay as part of the larger community. I see Medea. Hello, Medea. Hello, sister. How have you been? It's been a long time. I hope things are going well. I'm sure you know that I am extra buzzed today because we're also seeing the Capricorn Full Moon, which is a very, very powerful full moon. Have been excited for because it is at 29 degrees. And for me, Capricorn is always this energy that is about getting shit done, manifesting what you need to manifest in the ways that you best need to manifest it. And yeah, really just looking at the larger picture. And Medea says, long time, gratitude for your being, grateful for life in general. I don't think, at least while I've known you, Medea, I don't think I know a time where you weren't grateful. So this is a good thing. So yeah, well, it's good to see you. It's very good to see you, and I hope things are going well. So life is lifing. Well, everything happening in the world, yes, life is lifing. That's a good way of putting it. I think I and most sensible people have given up on trying to predict exactly what's going to happen and how is it going to happen, just because there's so many different variables, so many different factors. And yes, Anki, we agree. And on top of all of that, we also see that free will is a very, very powerful way in which things are happening in unexpected ways. We're seeing unexpected expressions of astrological alignments because people are using them in different ways. So, just got to see what comes and show up as best you can. Shannon says hi, or rather emojis hi. Hello, good to see you. Medea says, hey, kitty. She's a good girl. She was sitting on top of the laptop, and I said, Mommy needs to go and look at stuff. And then eventually she decided to move because she was like, okay, fine, the people need to know what's going on. So, so let's get back to that full moon. Unless there's anything that anyone wants to talk about or any questions, comments, whatevs, just let me know. So let's talk about this full moon. So, okay, Capricorn full moon, 29 degrees is already pretty big. Oh, and I see Michelle. Hello. I remember you. Hello, love. Nice to see you. So, Capricorn full moon is already pretty big. 29 degrees is even bigger because it's the anorectic degree of the sign, meaning it is the point of culmination. So, for a lot of you, this is a moment of culmination. Sometimes culmination is an ending. It's a very interesting comment that just came in, but I will address that. Sometimes culmination is an ending. Sometimes culmination is a maturing of something. And sometimes culmination is closing the book and starting a new chapter, which can be both of those things. So look at whatever it is in your life that is coming to a point of culmination at this time. What is it in your life that you need to close the chapter on? What is it in your life that is receiving its moment of crowning glory? Whatever it is, it can be a big thing, it can be a small thing. That's the thing with Capricorn, as astrology gets revised more and more and more so in light of modern day interpretations, people forget what the energy of Capricorn is like. It's a mountain. It is a mountain that grows over time, very, very slow, very, very stable. When it stays there, it is there for a very long period of time. It's not about fast growth. It's not about standing tall at the expense of everything else. It is about creating something. Yes. It is about creating something in ways that truly align. And that is the true energy of Capricorn, which is why I like Capricorn. It's just that when people get caught up in the modernist idea of it, it becomes kind of lame. And I don't mean that in an ableist sense, using a crutch myself, but it's just kind of meh, put it that way. Ryan asks, do you want to fork? Definitely not with someone who does not know how to spell the word. And Ryan is getting booted out of this chat. How do I do that? Remove. There we go. So I see Chiron. Hello, Chiron. Hi, buddy. Hi, hi, hi. Chiron, I'm sure you're also excited for this Capricorn full moon. I think most people associated with me would be. How do I block this guy? Hide user on this channel. There we go. All right. So, there we go. We shall not be bothered. So, yeah, I'm sure that most of you associated with me would definitely, be enjoying this particular energy. Graciela says the peanut gallery. Well, peanut gallery, I think, yeah, it's probably a good way of putting it. I shall reserve my comments on exactly what's a peanut. Chiron says, so happy to see you. Chiron says, oh yeah, I sure am. I mean, on top of that, you got to remember, this full moon is aspecting a whole bunch of stuff. It's trining Uranus, it's conjuncting Pluto, it's sextiling Neptune. These are major bodies, you know. Oh, Phoenix says, hello from Texas, just tuning in. Hello, Phoenix. We're just doing a little chat about the Capricorn full moon, and then we're just going to get into chilling with the fam. So yeah, this Capricorn full moon is conjunct Pluto. It is sextile Neptune. It is trined Uranus. It is also trining bodies like, I believe, Sedna, Mars. There's a lot that's going on. So again, just look at what is coming to culmination. I would say this is also a very important time to stand up and show up for what is happening in the world around us. Remember the last video was about keep your head low? Well, this video is about saying, no, this is the time for you to stand up. It's a time for you to stand up, show up, do what matters. And there's a very big difference between, waving that flag of, I'm an activist, I'm here to create change, versus doing the damn thing. So do it. And this is a time to get things done. It's not about grandstanding. It is about quietly building and doing and being what it is you need to be to make the change that needs to happen in whatever way that you see fit in your life. Sometimes it's about the world around you. Sometimes it's about the world in you. But whatever it is, point of culmination. Medea says major bodies, all planetary placements, discernment time. See, Hanuki agree with you. Well done, Medea. So, she has a way. So yeah, I am very happy for this energy. I am always happy for strong Capricornian alignments because at the end of the day, they always tell you what the truth is, even if it is a painful truth. And when you accept that truth, whatever it may be, that is what allows you to grow and go to the next chapter. So, that's what I'm happy about. But enough about that. Tell me about what's going on. Dogaloba says, I love this energy. I feel great. Medea says, embody where you're at and who you are. Yep. That's about it. It's not about the big grandiose shit. It's about being present exactly where you are and doing what is right. Now, I also do want to point out that Mercury does square Uranus today. All right. So this is why I make this differentiation between the grandstanding and the waving of the flag, saying, blah, 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 versus actually standing for something and doing things that count. So, your voice in and of itself ain't going to change shit, but actions matched with the voice are more likely to. And Black says, Dr. B, hello, fam. Hello, love. I was thinking about you the other day. How are you? I hope that things are going well. Karina says, love to you, Dr. B. Love to you, too. It seems like we got a good crowd here. So we were just talking about the Capricorn full moon, 29 degrees, all of the stuff that's coming up. and just, chatting with the community, touching base, seeing how everybody is. So, yeah, I'm very excited by this. Medea says, Mercury, my ruling planet, and how I communicate. Your Mercury is definitely awake today, Medea. That's totally fine. Hmm. So, yeah. Though I will tell you that in recent news, a friend of mine sent me a teacup from Australia, and I'm very happy about that. Capricorns tend to like things like teacups and teapots. So that made me very happy. That was a nice thing. Medea says, peace to the chat. Hey, yo. So is anything going on with anyone? Anything you want to talk about? Anything you want to ask? It's a hello neighbor. Relax. Put your feet up. See what comes up. So what else is going on with everybody? And excuse me whilst I drink my warm orange juice because I needed some energy. Let me see. Oops, sorry about the sound. Let me see if there's anything else that is around that I want to talk about astrologically whilst I give people a chance to chat. No, I'd say I've about covered it. So let me just think if there's anything else that's happening. Hang on. Graciela says, my beloved grandmother, a Capricorn, loved teacups. Yeah, we have a thing about teapots and teacups. It's part of the Capricorn love language. You know, I don't think it applies to every single one of us, but a lot of us really like teapots. There must be a reason for it. There is the teapot asterism in astronomy that points to the galactic center. Maybe it has something to do with that. I don't know. Um, let's see. Phoenix says, I know this out here in Dallas that the sun is setting in the north instead of the west. What? Okay, that does not sound particularly good, but if I hear more about it, I'll keep my ears open for it. So thank you for sharing that with us. Medea says, the veil is thin. My ancestors are loud af. I'm called to surrender and observe. Don't force shit. Wise. And Black says, what are your thoughts on personal relationships now? I'm feeling a sense of freedom and independence and self-awareness right now. Also, a little bit of personal selfishness. I'd say that's a good balance. I mean, bear in mind, we're going to be having a very long period of, you know, Pluto in Aquarius. It's going to go back into Capricorn for a few months. So whatever you're working on now, Pluto is going to make sure the job is done right. And if in personal relationships, your relationship is, for example, not balanced in ways that actually allow you to do the work that you came to do, it is going to struggle. So you need to keep that space for yourself so that you can actually do what matters to you for real. A relationship should never stop you from being who you are. If it does, it ain't a good relationship to be in. Not saying that necessarily depends on you, or rather refers to you, but that would be the way I would take this at this time. A little bit of personal selfishness is great. Everyone came here to do slightly different things. Even if you are working with a partner or working with a group, everyone has their own thing to do and they need the space to do it. The thing is, if you're seeing that in the context of a relationship, you got to make sure that there's enough space to do that and keep things together in a natural way. Dog Lego Lover says, I keep hearing about Algol Medusa being highly activated at the minute. Yeah, totally. It's being activated by Uranus and so on. Honestly, I would say, as I covered this in the previous video when I was talking about the volatile skies, which also feeds into CB's comment, it's really Eros that we needed to watch out for, especially the past couple of days. Alcohol Medusa it really depends how you see the story. Some people see it as a warning, some people see it as protection, some people see it as, very much the vilification of the feminine and what happens when you push her too far. Because Medusa was not a bad person. She was someone who was, I would say, unfairly cursed and then turned into a monster and hunted down for sport. So, you kind of have to look at all of the stories instead of the straightforward narrative of, oh, great hero came and killed her. Well, there's some version of the stories that says that she basically kept to herself and was hunted. So it really depends which way you take that story. But with Medusa and Uranus in aspect to each other, we are definitely seeing a lot of those old chapters of the dark and suppressed aspects of the feminine, which are not necessarily evil, though sometimes they may be in need of deep, deep healing due to the systemic injustices that have been placed upon them. And this can come up in a volatile way. And for people who are very ungrounded, very imbalanced, rather than looking at this as an opportunity to heal, they can cause more harm. So that is what that is about, at least according to me. Maria says, yeah, the skies are interesting AF. CB says, I've noticed some volatile energy. Yep. Makes me want to avoid outside. Understood. And with the Mercury retrograde shadow, I wonder if there will continue to be an increase in both local and global hostility. I have been thinking about this just because of thinking of what's happening in Palestine, various riots going on in South Asia. There's, it's very hard to say how this is going to pan out, but you know, right now we have to rip the band-aid off. It actually past the time where we need to rip the band-aid off. And change is happening, but the way it needs to happen isn't necessarily the most peaceful, happy-go-lucky, care bear, tree-hugging kind of way. That's not necessarily the best way. There is, in fact, a lot of volatility, and there's also a lot of energies that want to meet this volatility in different ways. So I fully hear what you're saying. I do not know about the levels of hostility in the world. I would say it is likely to continue rising, but only up to the point where an acceptable alternative is created. And that alternative is created only when people do that. When we keep feeding into this energy of reaction and division, I'm not saying ignore what's happening. That is not what I'm saying. But even if you are working on a social justice issue, rather than feeding into the us versus them narrative, create alternative spaces. And this is also something that I talked about in that video on volatile skies. And I briefly referenced Foucault there for some of the thinking behind that. So you may want to look into that if you wish. Medea says, sun setting west, not due west, yet seems we observing major celestial shifts in real time. Yeah, I'm quite excited to see the bright star, bright explosion that's going to come up. They think this year or next year, I'm not sure, in Coma Berenices, if I'm not mistaken, but it is going to light up the sky. Now that is something to really look up for. Let's see. Oh, I see Watchman. Hello, bro. He says, good afternoon, Bhairavi, bro, and furry ones from the Gold Coast. How are you, bro? How are things going? Um, Dia says, here we are bearing witness. No, no more Care Bear fluff, yawn. But I like Care Bear stuff. It's just that that's not what's going to be changing things. Right now, the Care Bears kind of need to turn it a bit more into Ewoks if we stick with the bear mythology. you know, kind of need to be more Ewok energy. How are you doing, bro? How's it going? How's everyone else doing? Any other questions or things you'd like me to answer? Whilst we are here. CB says, what is all this talk about major opportunities coming down the line associated with or triggered by this Capricorn moon? You may want to go back to earlier part of the video where I have already talked about that. So as I said very briefly, it's a point of culmination, and it is a time for you to be closing the books on some things and opening new chapters. For other people, it may be a maturation of something. And whatever you're doing now, you're going to revisit with Pluto. So I hope that answers your question. Let's see. Carolina says, myself and my family recently attended a sun dance with some relatives that are changing the narrative in our native circles, where they are bringing women into a space of power and ceremony. It was a beautiful ceremony and such a special way to help change things. Thank you so much for sharing. That is precisely what I mean. This is how people who are more spiritually inclined can actually create change. We don't create change in the ways in which we access spirituality and power, which many spaces in which women and people who are alternately defined to the cis heteronormative white male as a position of privilege. This is where we need to actually reclaim those spaces and infuse them with meanings of more openness that they would have once had. So thank you for sharing, Carolina. That is precisely what I mean by creating the alternative. Once you get locked into the us versus them system, that doesn't work. Medea says, gratitude at Carolina, women must come forward and center now. Gratitude. Women, anyone who's been cut out of the mainstream, but a lot of the time that is people who are seen as women. Yeah, we've had the shit end of a stick for a very, very long time. So, but ultimately, again, it is about creating these spaces where those alternatives exist. It is not about challenging things in a binary way because the binary needs to die. That is part and parcel of a lot of the issues that, undercut just about everything happening on this planet. But that is a great way of change. Thank you again for sharing. Anyone else want to share anything? Any thoughts, any observations, anything else that comes up at this time? Let me know, let me know. Yeah, otherwise we can wrap this up. So I'll give you a minute to go in and see if there's anything else in the chat. Otherwise, we can just make this a quick one. DSS binary ain't sustainable at all. Agreed. Totally agreed. Okay, that is cool. Okay, Graciela's talking about another ritual space in Ecuador where they are bringing women into ritual spaces that were only for men at one point. As long as it's done respectfully and you're not altering the basic reasons for why that may have been at a certain point, that is totally cool. Because I know in Aboriginal cultures there are spaces that are specifically for men and specific for women, and yes, they also had spaces for the third gender, so to speak, but they had a reason for that. And as long as that is respected, more power to them. Phoenix says, you have a twin that drives school buses out here in Texas. Amazing, beautiful lady. And she is a Capricorn as well. I've always wanted to tell you that. That is amazing. If I ever visit Texas, you must point her out to me and I will say hello. Medea says, I'm glad to see you. Says, so much love, Dr. B. Gratitude and peace to the chat. Adar, hello Adar. Hi, Dr. B just joined, so I missed quite a bit. Well, in the beginning part of the video, I talk about this Capricorn Full Moon, but long story short, show up, do what you're supposed to do, point of culmination or maturation for various things. And you got to be thorough about it. Otherwise, Pluto's going to kick all our asses, respectively, when it goes back over 29 degrees Capricorn, as it will, twice in the next few months. So just look at whatever in your life. Some things you may need to close the book on, other things you may see, as a point of fullness. Oh, another pro tip, look at whatever you were doing in January, because there was the Capricorn New Moon then. So whatever seeds you set then may have come to fruition at this time. Sometimes fruition is, things successfully happening, and sometimes it's a realization those were not your seeds. And that is also success in a different way. Dog Lego says, thank you, lots of love your way, most welcome, most welcome. But in a nutshell, that's what I've been talking about. The rest has just been, catching up with the community. And, if there's anything else anyone else wants to talk about or any other questions or anything, let me know. Adar says there's a lot of collective ass whooping we need to mitigate. This is a good way of putting it. This is why I like Adar. I see Pluto carrying a big stick. Yes. This is why creating those alternative spaces that don't hold this binary bullshit, is extremely important. Extremely. Whether it's the gender binary, whether it's some other issue, whatever it is, it's extremely important to create these alternative spaces. Graciela says, love you, Dr. Bean. Thank you. Always for engaging and sending your messages of love. That's always appreciated. So I think I'm going to sign off. I send all of you lots of love, and I hope this message reaches those that it needs to reach in the best way possible. So take care. Very many blessings. Show up where you need to right now and stay safe. Ciao, ciao for now. Bye-bye.